Begin in Edo State, where a brazen daylight attack unfolded Thursday afternoon along the notorious Okada axis of the Benin-Ore Expressway in Edo State, as armed assailants opened fire on stalled traffic, killing at least one motorist and abducting several others in a terrifying scene captured on video. Let's take a look.
I'm a kidnapper for broad daylight. Kidnapper, they're not just a shooting here. See, they don't even keep person for themselves. We don't know who they key. Now they hear they see gun. We don't know who they key. They don't keep person for ground. See, that truck so they hold and stand.
Hey, everybody they watch. They didn't carry anything from here.
They don't shoot person. They don't keep person.
Well, there were also some follow-up clips from the scene that indicate that the assailants continued their operation even as Nigerian army personnel arrived, with sporadic gunfire still audible. The Benin-Ore Expressway, a major federal highway linking Edo State to Ondo and beyond, has long been identified as a high-risk corridor for armed robbery, kidnapping and banditry. Now, despite the presence of multiple security checkpoints, criminal groups continue to exploit heavy traffic, poor visibility in bushy areas and slow response times to carry out ambushes, often in broad daylight. Well, of course, this is the kind of story that generates several reactions. Let's go to X, where this user said, with the number of security checkpoints within this region, such incidents shouldn't even be occurring in the first place. It's scary, but also not completely surprising. Again, little to nothing might be done, aside a press release statement and empty promises. The government's focus is on how to tax Nigerians. Well, PRO also tweeted and said every state needs active helicopters for an emergency response. Now, because we're still talking on insecurity, I'd like to tie this in with an event that you touched on earlier and that really shook many of us to the core yesterday here in Lagos State, as the State Police Command yesterday responded to reports from 3 private schools in the Ikeja area that reported that they had received distress messages from the same unknown WhatsApp number. Now, in response, the Commissioner of Police, CP Olohundare Jimo, mobilized and personally led a team of police operatives, including a team of experts from the command's explosive ordnance disposal, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear EODCBRN, the Rapid Response Squad, and other tactical teams to the school premises for on-the-spot assessment and security reinforcement. A sweep of the school environment, including classrooms, administrative offices, halls, playgrounds, and surrounding premises of each of the schools, was conducted by the experts to rule out the presence of improvised explosive devices or any other dangerous or suspicious materials. So the operation yielded no explosive or hazardous device, and the schools were consequently declared safe for continued academic and administrative activities. However, of course, we know that the students yesterday had already been evacuated early from the school premises, regular operations are said to continue today as police officers have now been deployed to each of those schools to guarantee their security. So we have an incident in Edo State on an expressway that has unfortunately now become notorious for various criminal activity. And then Lagos, closer to home. I never thought we'd, hear of a bomb scare so close, and we're looking at some of the most quality private schools that we have. Let me start with you, Rufai.
Vimbai, I kept on saying Jesus Christ because I know that road too well. I lived in Warri. I plied that road. We'll come on holidays through that road. I have slept on that road, not once, not twice, not 3 times. Benin Shagamu Expressway, the Ondo route up to Benin. In fact, I remember one particular episode in the 90s. I slept on that road. It was a contact set. It was a station wagon, Peugeot station wagon, and we had problems with the contact sets. I don't know if they still make cars that have contact sets again these days. It was a Peugeot station wagon, and we started to sleep on that road. We felt safe. We felt secure. Vimbai, today, you can hardly ply that road because of things like this. On the Ondo axis, there's so much happening. Now the Ore axis. I still had a friend that plied that road yesterday, and that's why my mind was not at rest. In fact, I had to ask him, hope you're okay. In fact, when I went to pee while we're on the air, I called him again. He said, my brother, you worry too much. I said, no.
But he heard about the incident, I'm sure.
But I heard about the incident. You see, this problem is deeper than what's on the surface. You know what it means? The Nigerian state has gradually lost the monopoly of violence. Section 14, Section 2 says the role of the government is to protect people. Nigerian governments have finally shown that they cannot protect people again. And when that happens, there's anarchy in the land. This is anarchy. Anarchy is when 177 people were kidnapped and the government comes out to lie and deny that it never happened until the list was released. So anarchy is officially in the land. The question is if you are part of it, if you get affected, that's when you know the impact. The people that died there are not just numbers. Allegedly, because we don't even see it. So what can we do? The government, yes, America will help you, give you some. You should be able to effectively diverse a means because all that you are doing apparently is not working.
Ayo, I come quickly to you, especially on the Lagos State. Of course, we know that nothing was found. So for now, the police are calling it a hoax because there was no evidence of, anything like a bomb, but just this bomb scare on its, on its own.
It's a very expensive hoax because how do you disabuse the minds of parents and guardians to take their wards back to school, especially because of the prevailing security situation or insecurity situation in the country? And that's why we said that it shouldn't be until it comes to our doorstep before we begin to see that this is a problem, because as we often say, it could happen anywhere. As long as the security remains a challenge in Nigeria, it could move from the north, where it is, where we talk about most commonly, to parts of the south. And that's why when you hear statements like this, people would believe it, whether or not it was a hoax, and it would cause fear and panic in people because it is possible. So what we are calling for when we keep saying, let there be, let the government address insecurity head on and decisively across the country. This is the reason why we're saying that. It's interesting because I have relatives in some of the schools identified. Many people would know one or two people in these schools. So it's very prominent. It's coming closer to home. And that's why every Nigerian must speak up, and the government, most importantly, must ask to act to ensure that we feel safe in our communities, in going to school. And I must mention the reason why school is important. We've said it before that, especially in the north where it's happened, there's a threat, there's an attack against education. And when you attack education in any nation, you attack the future, you attack the young people in any nation. We often talk about how the greatest resource in Nigeria are the young people, the youthful population. When you attack education, you attack the future of a nation. So it's a big statement right there. And so I'm hoping that this, yes, whilst we're saying, okay, security will be deployed, we're looking for its prevention. Very quickly on the Bini Ore Road.
Let's round
just very quickly. Yeah. Last year, August, about 13 people were kidnapped on that same road. All the kidnapped victims were rescued. However, the kidnappers were not apprehended. This is what we talk about when we say that it's beyond just saying, we rescued without going after the perpetrators. It would happen again. And that's a sad story of what's happened again, where we see that, this, altercation between the police and the criminals. I think it's important for us to keep on highlighting the fact that until Nigeria is safe, it has far-reaching impact on the economy, on the education, on the future of our nation.
Dr. Bati, just a quick word, very quick before we move on.
Well, what happened on the Viol Expressway, which is a major highway linking the west to the east? I mean, most people, it's not just between Ondo State and Edo State. It's from Lagos all the way down to the south. This is the challenge of insecurity that we face in the country. Now, part of the problem with that road, that expressway, was the poor condition of the road. Now, they fixed it up to a certain point just before you get to Benin, and yet it is not safe. And I think that that should be a source of concern to many Nigerians, that the rail lines are not safe. There's a lot of anxiety with air travel, and then you are going on the roads, you are also not secure. Transportation is very important. We were celebrating Morocco this morning, saying they did well. Transportation was one of the things that the Moroccans brought to the table. That's why they can, be considered for hosting the World Cup in 2030. Now look at where we are in Nigeria. And again, the same insecurity is what will make it possible for pranksters. People, perhaps this new category of professionals in Nigeria called the content creators, perhaps, just scaremongering about, schools about to be attacked and all of that, and then throwing the entire city of Lagos into confusion.
Yes.
It was not only in Ikeja that schools already closed down. Also on the island, everywhere, people started rushing to schools to go and to go and rescue their children. So that kind of panic does not make for good living, does not make for peace and stability in any environment whatsoever. And that is why government, whether federal or state, must always be on red alert, high alert, to make sure that we don't have all this, panic, situations.
Yes, absolutely, and of course we do commend the Lagos State Police Command for attending to the situation and doing so swiftly. And we hope that we can maintain an environment of peace, not just in Lagos, but we need to restore peace all across the country. Now.